So towards the end of season 1, or somewhere in the middle, I talked to some of the writers more, and they were like, really, we just kind of went with whatever you did. We started writing to more how you are and whatever. And I was like, what? And I was really glad in the end I didn't know that, because that's like a lot of pressure, I feel like. But I was just being myself, and they started kind of writing to it more, which was funny.
Hey y'all, welcome to Tea with Paul G, the talk show where we believe you should do what you love, do good for others, and have fun along the way. The iced tea hottie that's joining me today is literally one of the sweetest people I've ever met from one of the sweetest families I have the pleasure of knowing. She's the youngest of 3 siblings who are all thespians, and she is currently a series regular on Big Shot, where she plays Samantha, the perky point guard who helped pave the way to Division II for the Westbrook basketball team. And without further ado, Cricket Wampler, it is tea time.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you for being here.
Mm-hmm.
You look great.
Thank you, Paul. I'm so excited to be here. Oh, that's delicious.
Awesome. Yeah? Yeah, I think you're having the raspberry tea.
Yes,
is that
I
right?
did go raspberry. I didn't know if it would be more colorful, but it's almost more confusing now that it is.
If we had extra raspberries, we could have popped some in there.
Totally
Didn't think that far ahead.
Just
right?
kidding,
Yeah, right?
just kidding.
They're all lacquered and varnished, so don't put that in your tea. Save it for Romeo and Juliet.
Yes.
Have you ever done Romeo and Juliet?
I have not. I have not. I don't feel like I've done really any of the classical plays. Plays have not been my forte, but I feel like being a dancer and liking acting, I love the live performance thrill. So maybe one day. Maybe
It's
one
something about that immediate audience reaction that
Yes.
feeds that creative spirit inside us, right?
Knowing how you're doing while you're doing it is very nice.
So if you're okay with it, I think we're going to roll on into our next segment, which is Spill the Tea. All right, Cricky. So the first thing I like to ask people in this is, do you remember how we met?
Paul,
It's
that
going
is such a
way
hard question.
back.
Okay, I try not to really think about how I was, like, when I think about meeting you, I don't really remember, because I was, what, 7 or 8?
Yeah, I know you were young, because I was young too
yes,
back then.
Definitely crazy. So I cannot say that I remember the specific moment we met, but I definitely remember my family was just living at a hotel at the time where you worked.
Where I was working at the time.
And you definitely, it was fun because we got to know a lot of the staff pretty well, but we were always just like, Paul, the actor guy that works here. And it was fun to have that connection with the acting too, because everyone else was not.
Yeah, that's my memory too, is just this amazingly wonderful, nice family, you know, all just coming in. I'm like, wow, there's a lot of them, and they're all great looking and very nice, and just what a good souls, good people.
Thank you, Paul. That's so sweet.
I always feel like you guys are a part of my, family out here,
We definitely feel that way. No, and also, yes, not to say you're good looking. Well, you are.
Oh.
But that was, my mom was always like,
thank you.
that cute one, the actor one that doesn't work you too well. And then it's like, Paul, the cute actor waiter.
Oh, I'll take it.
Yes,
I'll take it.
It's funny.
I'll give you 5 minutes to cut that out, okay? No. I'm gonna have some tea, but I do want to ask you about, speaking of tea, I hear that you have a nickname, Cricket-TEA. Oh, we got to talk about that on this show.
Did you talk to my mom?
Of course I talked to your mom.
Technically, yes. That is so funny if she actually brought that up. But yes, I definitely, Carrie gets mad because she is Care and she is Care Bear. And we call each other sis, and now it's like cool to do that, but we did it because we were sisters, obviously, back in the day. And then there is me, that we cannot even begin to list all the nicknames I have. I'm just the one that goes off the beaten path. I mean, Cricket's a nickname in itself, so then to bridge off of that in every way we have, and then Cricket-TEA does exist.
Did that just happen, or is there an origin to that, or?
Most of my nicknames have just happened.
Okay.
Just like, it was like almost a malfunction of the mouth when it was said, and then it stuck.
And then it stuck,
yes,
you go with it.
Cricket-TEA. Okay, yes.
You know what, it's funny you bringing up, like, Carrie has the one nickname, Care Bear.
Yes.
And then, of course, Philip, the 3 of you.
Yes.
Which of the 3 of you is the wildest? I feel like it's you.
Oh, that's a funny assumption. That is a funny assumption. Yes. So basically, I am the quote-unquote rebel child. We're putting that in quotes because not at all. I am not that crazy or wild, but Carrie was just cookie cutter, just such a great daughter, and like, be like Carrie. And then there's Philly, and he definitely flies under the radar. He's definitely more, he just kind of flies under the radar. He's a great kid and
Good
whatever.
guy.
Then it comes to me, and I'm the rebel child because of things like, first off, I definitely, rebel, definitely put that in quotes. I am very, if someone tells me what to do, I'm just kind of a little bit more the challenger, and I just am like, interesting and whatever. And my mom, I'm always like, expect the unexpected, because if she tells me to do something, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Okay, I'm going this way. Like, I definitely am a little bit more testing the waters, but my rebellious act that really got me the title is my family's very weird about driving and very specific and very fearful with driving. So we all didn't drive till we were 18. My brother still doesn't have a license.
I was going to say, Phil still doesn't?
He's working on that. And he's definitely less afraid now, but we definitely,
good.
it's like generations back. I did not realize, like I have like a great aunt that just doesn't drive at all because she just is scared to, and it's like, that's a thing. So of course we're in LA. My mom doesn't drive on the freeway, doesn't whatever.
Yeah,
So when I learned to drive, I was like, I'm not going to be scared of the freeway. And my parents were like, you're just going to have to work up to driving on the freeway. We're not going to do that just yet. And I was like, I'm 18. I'm already anxious about this, and I need to like do it. So my rebellious act, one of them, was I just got on the freeway one day when I had my license and started learning and teaching myself the freeways. So Paul, these are the kind of rebellious acts that have given me this name. I am not that crazy of a child, but yes, I am the wildest of us.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's within the perspective. Obviously, you guys are just manners, decorum, exemplary, But when I was thinking about the three of you, I was like, well, I think Cricket is the wildest one. But I don't know if that's because I'm the youngest of the kids in my family too. Do you think
we might have a little more proof? I think.
Yeah.
Or we have just the wild card. Expect the unexpected. Also, I'm definitely like the sassy, feisty one. Feist-Tina is another nickname I grew up with. So I think we just have that little zest, probably stemming from, I feel like, I don't know how you're the youngest of how many?
4. Yeah.
I just feel like even if you don't feel like it, you had something to prove, and that's how I feel.
Yeah, and also sometimes we may seem a little more wild. I think because 3 kids in your family, 4 in mine. The parents have seen it and heard it all by the time they get to the baby of the family.
Yes.
So we kind of get away with a little more.
Definitely.
Shout out to my family. As far as the family, tell me, so all 3 of you, thespians, as I said.
Yes.
Is there ever any sibling rivalry when it comes to like the pursuit of
what a great
the
question.
career? I mean, and I'm not looking for any like dirt or whatever, but I know you guys are lovely and so supportive, but I have siblings. I know how it goes.
Yeah. Let's get to the beef, Paul.
Oh, yes.
Just kidding.
No, we're not looking for
beef.
dirt. It's just
I'm
something
totally
I was
joking.
curious about.
It would be fun if there was. Honestly, we're Team Wampler, and we kind of just have been the whole time. I think that the age gaps really help. Like, my sister and I are 5 years apart, 4.5. So it's like, funny enough, she did audition for the show I'm on now, and we both got called back for the same role.
Oh,
and then I
wow.
ended up testing and obviously getting the role. But it was just... or getting a different role, but it's just, even with that, we always forget, and she's always like, obviously it was so not meant to be for me, the cast is younger, like, it's just so your whatever.
Right.
And so even how she's handled that, I'm like, wow, that takes a lot, but also for her takes almost nothing, if that makes sense. So it's definitely, I give her a lot of credit on that. It's harder to compare when it's like, oh, Phil got that audition. It's like, he's my brother who's 2 years older,
no,
so we're
on.
all, it's definitely a collective team effort. Also, we all share the same name, so a win for one of us really is a win for all of us.
Exactly.
It's like, oh yeah, the Wamplers are doing that, the Wamplers are doing whatever, but it's so funny. I technically booked the first commercial. We would never have acted if it wasn't for the both of them. They've both done movies, which I've never done a movie. Like, we all just cover such different ground. So I just feel like it's all, we just get one new thing for one of us is a new thing for all of us, and it's just really exciting.
I love that. It's all about the support, the team effort, and like it also, like, especially with you and Carrie going up for the same role on Big Shot, like, I see friends at auditions, and it's always like, it's not like it's more like, oh, dude, hey, good to see you. Like, hey, if I don't get it, I hope you do.
Definitely.
Right? Because we always want to book it.
But I'm very, everything happens for a reason, and she is too. So it's very like, okay, obviously if I was meant to book it, you weren't, or like if you were meant to book it, I wasn't. So it's really, and that's how I feel auditioning with friends too. I'm like, clearly if they wanted, that's why I'm the person that's like, wait, did you get out for this? Because you should definitely be in for this. It fits you so well. Because I'm like, I'm sorry. I used to do that with my friend who was like 5 foot and looked so different than me. And I was like, if they want you for the role, they definitely didn't want me for the role. There's no, you know what I mean? If this is what's meant to be for you.
I mean, and that's exactly like what we're about here too, is that idea of positivity. It's like, not like, oh, I have to guard these auditions. I have to hoard, this opportunity just for me because, no, there's enough for everybody.
Definitely.
And everybody's not meant for everything they go out for.
Absolutely.
It works out as it should.
Yes.
People find their way into the roles that they should be playing.
Absolutely.
So as far as Big Shot, I'm curious because like there's a lot of legends that you're dealing with on that show. I mean, behind the scenes, you got David E. Kelley, Dean Lorey, Brad Garrett. Like, I mean, the history there, it's amazing. And then on camera too, John Stamos, Cameron Manheim did a guest star. Like, just some awesome talent. What was that experience like going into that? And were you familiar with all of these people's careers before you booked this role?
Okay, so yes, mostly the actors more so. I've never been the best at knowing everything behind the scenes, but of course I knew Brad Garrett from Everybody Loves Raymond, all of that. So definitely have, yes, heard of people and knew that, but I think that was a little, almost less intimidating to me, if that makes sense, because I'm just like a young girl and like maybe we'll get along, maybe we won't. I'm sure I'll be learning so much from them. So I kind of went into it with that, and then when auditioning, we did not know John was going to be a part of the show. And to this day, I swear, I'm such a John Stamos, Uncle Jesse fan. I was like, had I known he was a part of the show, I would never have made it past the audition phase. I would have psyched myself out so much.
You'd just been geeking out too much and be like,
it would have been the eagerness would have read so heavily that I would have never made it far in the process. So I was glad we found out it was him after we booked it. I was like, no way. So that, and then Yvette Nicole Brown, I grew up watching her on Drake and Josh, and she's so incredible. And then Jessalyn Gilsig, I had just previously watched Friday Night Lights was my favorite thing that she's probably done with my family, and she's recurring on that. And also one of our family favorite movies is called The Stepfather, and she's in that. So it's so literally I didn't even recognize that she was in it until we were watching it after I'd been on we'd done season 1, and we were watching like our favorite movie. We cozied in, and we were like, that's Jessalyn, what? So, and I mean, I've learned so much from all of them, and working with Cameron, who, whoa, I don't know if she's a method actress, but I definitely was scared of her the first couple episodes, and she plays kind of a stern, mean coach.
I was scared of her watching the episodes. I was like, look at her go. I mean, she came in that first scene and she just
hot and heavy.
Shredded people.
Yes, she just very straight to the
Love
point.
that performance.
Yes, so I definitely, not like she was mean to us by any means, but she definitely, I was like, I'm startled by her. I don't know. I don't know how she'll be, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So there was the last day of season 1. We were filming till like 1 a.m. She walks by, Tiana and I are sitting in a trailer, my friend Tiana and I, and she's like, I'm going to get soup. You guys want soup? And we were like, we're okay, thanks though. But she was
poison that?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if I trust it. Yeah. No, and so she was had to get soup, but then she sat and she talked for us for like an hour. Truly, Tiana and I still talk about that conversation because she was so sweet, taught us so much. We learned so much about her and about the industry and about everything. And we took away some life lessons from that lady that day.
I'm sure. That's awesome. I mean, seasoned professional right there.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so obviously we know that things aren't always filmed in order, but do you recall for the pilot, did you film in order? Like, was that first appearance when John Stamos kind of digs into you, when his character digs into you? Was that the first thing you shot with him? I think it was. It definitely wasn't like the first day or anything. I think we'd filmed some other scenes with like just the girls before. So meeting him, I think it was that scene. And it definitely, I mean, we'd met him through table reads, all that jazz, but it was our first scene with him. Right, the first time you're in costume, in front of the camera, like doing it. So I'm just thinking about like, wow, that experience, like the first time on camera with him and he just like lays into you. Yeah, it was a little bit scary. And again, I had to giggle for that scene for like 8 hours that day. It was a very long scene, and there were so many moving parts to it. So it definitely was a funny one to film. But he came in. Yeah, you don't want to. I was like, I'm making John Stamos mad on the first day. I'm laughing at something he said. I should not be doing this. I was testing the waters for Coach Corn. So one of the other things that I feel like is very you, and also in tune with like what we try to promote here on the show, is in the season 1 promos. Your character, Samantha, is described as the optimist. So, I mean, I feel like that's very you in real life, too. I try, definitely. I definitely have had seasons where it's definitely been harder and whatnot. Also, okay, weirdest thing. When testing for the show, I was testing for the role of Olive, who's played by Monique Green, and so it was a very weird process, and then we all tested for this character, Giggles, who didn't have a name and there was no breakdown for, besides she was like the sunny, optimist, giggly person. Obviously her name was Giggles. And so they didn't even know if she was gonna be a series regular at first, all this stuff. So when I found out I didn't book Olive pretty much immediately after testing, then they were like, but you are being considered for the Giggles character if they can even make it a series regular, whatever. So then when they did make her a series regular, luckily, and I ended up with the role, very luckily, it was very exciting, but they didn't really ever give a breakdown or whatever, so I just kind of like started going with it and was like, whatever they write for me, whatever. So towards the end of season 1, or somewhere in the middle, I talked to some of the writers more, and they were like, really, we just kind of went with whatever you did. We started writing to more how you are and whatever, and I was like, what? And I was really glad in the end I didn't know that, because that's like a lot of pressure, I feel like, but I was just being myself, and they started kind of writing to it more, which was funny. But yeah, because they just didn't really have, they had ideas for what they wanted for every other character, but mine was just kind of built along the way, since she wasn't even necessarily going to be a series regular at first. So yes, but she was written as an optimist from the start, and I try to be, and yeah, you definitely are. I mean, I catch that vibe from you as well, so. Yeah. But we're all human.
Yes.
We have good days and bad days.
Definitely.
Like, we're human. Nobody's perfect.
Definitely.
But the general outlook, it's a good one to have.
Yes.
That's awesome that the writers like started to mold the character around you. Like what a compliment to you, your talent, and what you bring to the role.
Oh, thanks, Paul. That's so sweet.
Right?
Yes, I think they ended up doing that with all the girls to some extent, but mine was just the cleanest slate to start with. They were like, we just kind of started, and I was like, that's so crazy, but it's very, very fun to get to also be. I can't decide if it's easier or harder to be so similar to yourself. Of course, some of the things she says and does I would not do, but I'm like, I can't decide if that's easier or harder because you have to make it natural because it's like something you almost would do, but also you're not fully a character. It's such a actor thing.
What about the way Samantha eats chips? Is that you or is that Samantha?
So.
Oh, there's a story here.
No, the thing I had beef with the writers with is I said, hey, Samantha's a real foodie. Why'd you write her like that? I was like, have you noticed that I'm big on food? Because she's like, where are the chicken nuggets? She's hounding back the chips.
Oh, we're going to talk about the chicken nuggets.
Oh, yeah. So I'm just saying, it was so funny because they were like, we wrote her to you. And I'm like, she's just a giant foodie who's kind of giggly. Like, what are you trying to say? But it is true. I just thought it was funny if they'd happen to pick up on it. So, yes. But, you know, I think in times of stress, anyone can eat chips at that rate in that way. So I think that everyone has their moments, Paul.
It's fine. I was just curious. I was just asking the question. It's what I'm here to do. I appreciate that, how she eats the chips and loves to follow the cafeteria on her phone. And, oh, they have 6 kind of sauces today, which is awesome. But, yeah, talk about the technology that they're using on set these days with the phone.
Yes, so I think that normally I was totally in that type of situation, would expect a black screen in my imagination to be going wild about what I wanted the sauces to be, whatever. But we actually have video playback engineer, Randall Green was behind that one. There's a whole team for it, but he was always handing us our devices and he was always like, the sauces are there if you want to like pay attention to that. We won't see them, but like just so they're there. And I was like, you are so sweet and you're doing absolutely the most. So they definitely have come a long way on that. And if we have text pop up, normally they're like, we're not going to see it, but just so you have it for the story. And I'm like, you're really caring about the story, which is so nice because I feel like they don't always dive that far in.
Yeah, as an actor, I love that attention to detail. In anything that helps me be in that moment, honestly, I'm all for it.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Just helps.
When I watch the show and when I see behind the scenes photos, videos, etc., this may sound cliche to say, but I get the sense it looks like you and your castmates are actually really friends and that y'all like each other.
Paul, we got so lucky. I truly have made some of my closest friends on this show, and we all get along very well. I definitely was concerned about that just in the casting process and when we were starting filming, not because of the specific girls, but I was like, we're throwing a bunch of teen, early 20 girls into working together all the time. It's basically high school. I was a little bit stressed.
Could be a disaster.
Yeah, but no, the mix, it just has all worked out very, very well. We all get along, and it's like you have, I love how many there are because it's like, oh, like blah, blah, blah's in like a quieter mood today. Well, I'll go knock on this trailer over here because she'll be in a fun mood. So it's like we're always all just having so much fun together, and truly some of my closest friends, yeah.
Does anybody ever put like a do not disturb on their trailer door?
No,
which is understandable if they do, because sometimes you need a moment.
I think we all got comfortable enough with each other over the past, because we've been filming for over 4 years, basically. No, wait, I just jumped ahead a little bit, like 3.5, okay?
Okay.
But way too long because COVID was interrupting. But because we know each other that well, it's not even, it's just like, oh, don't talk to blah, 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 she's in mood today. Or if we open the door, it's like, not in the mood today, love you though. We're very like, it feels almost more like sisters in that way, where no one's getting hurt feelings and no one's offended by anything, because we're just with each other all the time. So it's just like, not today, don't have the energy, you're going to Crafty, I don't need a snack right now. Like, it's just, but we're always inviting people to do everything.
Awesome. I love getting all the little behind the scenes details of this stuff. I could talk to you all day, but we only have you for a limited amount of time, so we better roll into our next segment, which is Positivity. Yeah, are you excited for this one?
I think so.
I have some questions for you.
Okay.
First thing I want to know is, do you have any advice that you'd like to give people or that you would like to share with viewers?
I feel like more recently I've been a big fan of like realizing embarrassment's a choice and like just being yourself unapologetically and kind of realizing that like you don't have to get embarrassed, because like if you're, especially like, I don't know, finding out that embarrassment can be a choice is something that has really changed my perspective on a lot of things, because I'm like, I'm gonna just choose not to be embarrassed, and it takes a certain level of confidence to choose that. But I think that and just being unapologetically yourself, I try to be that way, and it's just like if someone does not like you for exactly how you want to be or who you are, then just move on. Like there's way too many people out there, and I've really realized that with friendships and stuff, and even people I work with. I remember being almost because I'm a series regular, I was like, well, they're not going to get rid of me. I'm here. I can be fully myself. I think I always got a little timid when I was just on something for a shorter amount of time. I was always like, I'll just be quiet and stay in a corner and let people like me. And now, of course, I still try to be a positive person to work with, but I'm like, if you don't like me for my silly, goofy self, or like if you don't like me for how I am, then I just don't. We don't need to be around each other, which no one has ever had a problem with it. But I just that was my big concern, and now I'm learning most people do not care. You can be unapologetically yourself, and they're there for it.
Yeah, like you said, it takes a certain amount of confidence to do that, but also there's a certain vulnerability to it as well. But
yes.
When you are vulnerable that way and you put yourself out there for people to see, most of the time, majority of the time, they love it, and they love you for it. Right?
No, it's definitely true. I think I was so nervous about how people would receive it and whatever. Yeah. It's not like it was a conscious light switch of now I'm going to be completely myself, but working towards that, I was like, when you realize that people like you for you, you're like, oh, this is a whole nother level, and they actually know me. It's just a different type of friendship or whatever it is that when you really know somebody, it's
more meaningful.
Definitely, it's very fun.
Okay, so that is a great answer. Next question is there just a general inspirational story or uplifting story that you'd like to share?
I think that's a really hard question because I think it's tough to pinpoint it to one thing. But what does come to mind is, as you know, you've known me since I was 8. I've been acting since I was 8. And now I'm 21. So that is a long time, okay? And this is my first series regular role. This is whatever. But there were 5 years previous to booking Big Shot that I did not work on a single thing. Not a commercial, not a whatever. So
print job.
No print job. So that's why I completely engulfed myself in dance at that point. I said, this is something I can control, that I also am very passionate about and whatever. And so many people in that time would come up to me and be like, oh, so you're dancing now, you don't act anymore? And I would always be like, no, I'm working just as hard in acting as I always have. I just don't have the opportunities right now. It's just a great reminder that if you really love what you're doing and are serious about it, then there's no amount of time that can alter that. My love for acting did not fade one bit. If anything, it grew stronger. And I remember I used to be a little more of a pity party about it. I'd be like, it's been 3 years since I've worked, whatever, and I would get down about it. And naturally, it's my job and I'm not working. So I think first off, diving into dance and really finding other purpose and other meaning, because your job can't be your only meaning anyway. I've come to learn that more recently.
Absolutely.
But that, and also I one day had a switch and I don't know what caused it. And I was like, I'm sick of counting down how long it's been since set. I'm gonna wake up every day and think, I'm one day closer to set. I have no idea what set that will be or whatever, but every day that goes by is one day closer. It's inevitable. Just like if you're single, you can be like, one day closer to marriage. You're not actually maybe actively doing anything to get closer, but just time going by is whatever is making you closer. So I think that has really helped me. So I think just overall, timing of everything is out of our control. So I think just working hard, but also staying consistent and just, I think not letting other people also doubting, oh, are you still even da-da-da? Are you still passionate? That could have easily gotten me down more than it did, but I was just like, oh, I'm so sure in what I'm doing that I don't care that you just kind of offended me by asking if I even try to still act when it's what I try to do every day. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think just taking everything, with a grain of salt, and I trust the process very much, so I think that helps.
That's amazing. Yeah, the proof is right there. 5-year dry spell, and then boom. Great role.
Here we are. Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great way to end that segment, and we can move on into the next one if you want, which is Chari-TEA. So, are you ready for some trivia?
Oh, dang. I don't know what kind of trivia. My brain goes flustered when I have to answer questions with correct answers fast. But I'm ready to try, Paul.
Okay. I think you're going to be fine because your trivia is inspired by Big Shot.
Okay.
Inspired by. Okay. So my game is called Fif-TEA, Fif-TEA. Okay. So we're going to put 50 seconds on the clock.
Oh, a timer. Okay.
And it'll give you the opportunity to win $50 for the charity of your choice.
Okay.
So which is who?
I chose Children's Hospital LA.
Children's Hospital LA.
Yes.
Awesome. I actually did some volunteer stuff there many years ago, and it's just touching to be there and humbling and inspirational too.
Definitely. I felt very tied to it because of volunteering there too. I was like, I love it here. COVID, haven't been back since, but no, I just definitely feel very tied to it, yes.
Awesome. Well, let's see if we can win them some money.
Okay.
All right, so 50 seconds on the clock, please. They got it. Are you ready?
I think so.
All right, and just so you know, the clock won't start until after I finish your first clue.
Okay.
And if you get stumped, you can say pass, and if there's time, we'll circle back.
Cool.
Okay? Here we go. Complete this lyric from a famous Pat Benatar song, Hit Me With Blank, Blank, Blank.
Your best shot.
Yes! This 1980s film starring Tom Hanks tells the story of a boy who makes a wish and then wakes up in the body of an adult man.
Pass.
Okay. A blank in the dark.
Shot?
Yes, you know it. John Stamos is perhaps most well known for his role as what character from Full House?
Uncle Jesse.
Of course, you said it earlier. All right, in Greek mythology, these creatures use music and singing to lure sailors to their deaths.
In this what movie?
In Greek mythology, these creatures use music and singing to lure sailors to their deaths.
Like, what is that called?
What are those creatures?
Sirens.
Sirens, of course, yes. All right, wait, gotta go back. Okay, the 1980s film starring Tom Hanks tells the story of a boy who makes a wish and then wakes up in the body of an adult man.
Life-sized?
Oh, so close. It's Big.
Oh, dang.
See, yeah, that one came right before A Shot in the Dark, so it was like Big Shot.
Oh,
But
okay.
that was, I
very
believe.
clever.
Oh, you did a great job though. She got 4 out of 5, right? 4 out of 5. That's not too shabby. Come on.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so $40 to Children's Hospital LA in honor of you.
Okay, thank you.
So since you're on a roll, I think we should stroll on into our next segment, which is Activity. Now, Cricket, for our activity, I thought it might be fun if we shot some hoops together.
Oh, dang, okay. I'm good. I might be a little rusty, but,
Oh, nice.
but I'll try my best.
Working in the tea, I love it. Okay, so our two lovely PAs here have a hoop for us at the ready, and
Thank you, guys.
I think producer Matt has some balls. I'll let you go first, ladies
Okay,
first. I'll hold
okay.
these for you. So there's no timer, no pressure, just as you wish.
Seeing as many as we can make, okay?
Yeah.
That was a rocky start, okay.
Oh, Lauren, I'm sorry.
Think about the poor PAs.
Oh my God. You're a lefty? Is that? I didn't know you were a lefty. Oh Lordy. All right. So I guess if we get the balls back, and then I'll take a go. Do you mind holding
I'm
for
going to
me
be
too?
devastated if you make all of them and make me look really bad right now.
No. Wait, so how many did Cricket make?
0.
We didn't get it.
0. Lauren, are you okay?
I made a PA cry. That's what I made.
Ren, are you okay? Okay, awesome.
Okay, thank you,
So my
guys.
turn. Here we go.
Okay, that was definitely a better start. 1.
Sorry. Okay,
You
so
still won, Paul.
1. Well, but hey, you did great too.
Okay, you're very
Trying
kind.
to keep it positive.
Okay.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Ren. Thank you,
Thank
Cricket.
you, guys. I'm so
here, could I
sorry.
pass this off to you, sir? So, how'd that go for you?
So the bar was low, and I went even lower.
All right. Well, there's always redemption. We'll have you on another season, and we'll do it again.
Yes, please.
All right. I would like to do a little Publici-TEA. So, please, Cricket, tell us what you got going on, what's coming next, where we should look out for you.
I would say season 2 of Big Shot is just about as real as it gets. Other than that, I'm just auditioning. I have a dance performance coming up, but nothing too crazy other than that. Yeah.
Congrats. Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Paul, thank you so much for having me. I've had such a blast.
So have I. Thank you so much. So I guess before we let you go, can we get sirens on 3?
Yes!
All
I
right.
haven't done it in a couple months. I'm a little rusty.
1, 2, 3. Sirens! Awesome. Thank you for being here. And now it's time for the last but not least segment, Audience Par-TEA-cipation. And this is where I want to thank you, the viewers, for watching. I really mean that. It means a lot. Also, this is an invitation for you to write in and tell us how you think my wardrobe today has been inspired by our guest. So we'll review all the correct answers and we'll pick a winner before the next episode drops. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. And I will see you next TEAse Day. Thank you.